Today, let's take a journey to one of the ancient world's most fascinating cities, Ephesus. This wasn't just a place of stone and marble. It was a vibrant hub where trade, art, religion, and daily life intertwined. Picture the chatter of merchants, the roar of theater crowds, the sound of waves lapping at the harbor. Thousands of years ago, Ephesus was buzzing with energy. Founded in the 10th century BCE by Ionian Greeks, it became a key port city on the Aegean coast, linking east and west. Its location made it special, but what truly set Ephesus apart were its temples, libraries, theaters, luxurious homes, and stunning fountains. Let's explore the city's history and its buildings, diving into their stories one by one. The story of Ephesus begins around the 10th century BCE, when Ionian settlers established the city on the western coast of Anatolia. According to legend, a prophecy guided them, with the oracle of Delphi instructing them to build where fish leap and a wild boar appears. That spot became Ephesus, near the mouth of the Kushuk-Menderes River, with fertile lands and a strategic harbor. This location turned Ephesus into a trade powerhouse, connecting goods from Anatolia, grain, olive oil, wine, with exotic imports from the east, spices, silk, precious stones. By the 7th and 6th centuries BCE, Ephesus fell under Lydian control. King Croesus, famed for his wealth, contributed to the construction of the Artemis Temple, boosting the city's prosperity. In 546 BCE, the Persians took over, but Ephesus remained a thriving center of trade and culture. During the 5th century BCE, it joined the Ionian revolt against Persian rule, though the rebellion failed. Still, the city's economic strength endured. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great's conquests brought Ephesus into the Hellenistic era. His general Lysimachus relocated the city to its current site due to the silting of the original harbor. This period saw Ephesus rebuilt with wide streets, grand buildings, and advanced infrastructure. The Roman period was Ephesus's golden age. By the 2nd century BCE, it became the capital of the Roman province of Asia, growing into one of the Mediterranean's largest cities, with a population nearing 200,000. Rome invested heavily in Ephesus, erecting temples, theaters, libraries, and fountains. The harbor facilitated trade with Rome's eastern provinces, making the city a commercial giant. Beyond trade, Ephesus was a religious and cultural hub. The Artemis Temple drew pilgrims, while early Christianity took root, with figures like Saint Paul preaching here, making Ephesus a key center for the new faith. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Artemis Temple was built around 550 BCE. Located just outside the city near the harbor, it was easily accessible to merchants and pilgrims arriving by ship. Its scale was staggering, 115 meters long, 55 meters wide, and 18 meters high, larger than a modern football field. Surrounded by 127 massive marble columns, each adorned with carvings of gods, heroes, and mythical creatures, the temple was a masterpiece. Some columns were coated with gold leaf, gleaming in the Aegean sun. Marble from nearby hills was meticulously polished to a mirror-like finish. Artemis, the goddess of fertility and hunting, was the city's protector. Inside the temple stood a large statue of Artemis, crafted from ebony, gold, and ivory, believed by locals to have fallen from the sky. The temple wasn't just for worship. It was a social and commercial hub. Merchants struck deals in the courtyard, priests held rituals, and artists sought inspiration. Built on a raised platform to protect it from floods, the temple welcomed sea breezes, blending beauty with function. Sadly, the temple's story has its dark moments. In 356 BCE, a man named Herostratus set it ablaze to gain fame. Though heavily damaged, the Ephesians rebuilt it even more grandly. Over time, earthquakes and invasions took their toll. By the 4th century CE, when Christianity became Rome's official religion, pagan temples were abandoned. The temple's statues and decorations were buried, perhaps for protection or ritual purposes. Today, only a few columns and foundations remain, but they still convey the temple's former glory. Let's move to Kuretler Street, lined with statues and fountains. Here we find the Celsus Library, a 2nd century CE Roman marvel. More than a place for books, it was a center where knowledge and art converged. Its 2-story facade featured elegant columns and arches, with statues of wisdom, knowledge, intelligence, and virtue at the entrance. Marble surfaces gleamed in the sunlight, adorned with intricate carvings of flowers and mythological figures. The facade's slightly curved design made it appear grander. Inside, about 12,000 scrolls were stored in wall niches. A double wall system protected them from humidity, with air circulation keeping the scrolls safe. The main hall, with high ceilings and large windows, welcomed morning light. Scholars studied scrolls, while philosophers debated in corners. The library also served as the tomb of Roman governor Tiberius Julius Celsus, with his sarcophagus beneath the main hall. This blend of knowledge and legacy made the library unique. Today, its restored facade stands as one of Rome's finest architectural examples. Next, let's head to the slopes of Pion Hill, where the Great Theatre awaits. With a capacity of 25,000, it was one of the largest theaters in the Roman world. Its semicircular design ensured perfect acoustics. A word spoken on stage reached the top rows clearly. The stage was once decorated with colorful marble panels, statues, and a 3-story backdrop. Tragedies, comedies, gladiator fights, and public speeches took place here. The theater was more than entertainment. It was a hub for social and political life. Roman senators addressed crowds, and festivals honoring Artemis were held. Its location offered views of the city and harbor, blending nature with architecture. Drainage channels ensured performances continued even in rain. Nearby is the Odeon, a smaller theater with a 1,500-seat capacity, likely roofed with wood or fabric to shield audiences from sun and rain. Its marble seats surrounded a small orchestra pit. Musicians played lyres and flutes, poets recited, and political meetings occurred here. The elite gathered in this refined space to enjoy music and debates. The Odeon's acoustics were so precise that every note and word was crystal clear. On the city's slopes, the terrace houses were the luxurious villas of Ephesus's wealthy. Built in the 1st century CE, these homes were like small palaces. Floors were covered with mosaics depicting mythological scenes, heroes, gods, monsters. Walls were painted with vibrant frescoes in red, blue, and gold, showing flowers and daily life. These houses had private baths, hot and cold water systems, and even underfloor heating. Excavations uncovered pottery, jewelry, and children's toys, revealing the elite's opulent lifestyle. Ephesus's streets were as impressive as its buildings, especially its fountains. Lining Kuretler Street and Harbor Street, these fountains provided water and added grandeur. The Trajan fountain, built in the 2nd century CE, was a standout. Dedicated to Emperor Trajan, it featured a large pool surrounded by columns and statues. At its center stood a grand marble statue of Trajan, flanked by symbols of victory, war scenes, and mythological figures. The pool was fed by the city's advanced water channels, supplying water for drinking, cooling off, or daily tasks. The fountain's carvings, gods, fertility symbols, and plant motifs were masterfully crafted. More than a water source, the Trajan fountain was a work of art. People gathered here to chat and share news, making it a social hub on bustling Kuretler Street. Its water system, fed by pipes stretching miles from the mountains, showcased Roman engineering. The Polio Fountain, funded in the 1st century CE by a wealthy benefactor named Pollio, was equally elegant, if less grand. Built on a marble platform with a pool and small statues, it drew water from the city's network of clay pipes. Located near Harbor Street, it was a favorite stop for merchants and travelers. Its carvings depicted daily life, goddesses, or fertility symbols, like those of Demeter or water nymphs, reflecting Ephesus's artistic flair. Small vendors sometimes set up stalls nearby, and people exchanged news while fetching water. The fountain also served ritual purposes. Pilgrims cleansed themselves here before visiting the Artemis temple. Both fountains highlighted Ephesus's wealth and order. The 24,000-seat stadium hosted athletic competitions and wild animal fights. The Arcadian Way connected the harbor to the city, serving as a grand entrance for Roman emperors. These streets and fountains reflected Ephesus's vibrancy. Now let's talk about the toilets used by the wealthy. Unlike the public latrines for commoners, the elite had private, luxurious facilities, often in the terrace houses or exclusive buildings. Marble seats, polished to a shine, were crafted from nearby quarries. These toilets had a continuous water flow system, with the city's channels and clay pipes bringing in clean water and flushing waste. Channels beneath ensured constant cleanliness, a remarkable technology for the time. Slaves maintained these toilets. Before the wealthy arrived, slaves cleaned the marble seats, checked the water flow, and, in cold weather, warmed the seats. Yes, heated seats. Some toilets used a system or slaves' efforts to heat the marble. A story goes that on a chilly winter morning, a wealthy Ephesian merchant would send slaves ahead to his villa's toilet. They'd light a small brazier, placing hot stones or metal containers under the marble seats to warm them, ensuring the merchant's comfort. This shows the elite's privileged lifestyle. Slaves also cleared blockages and kept the area spotless, making these toilets a status symbol. Ephesus. Thousands of years ago, people walked here, spoke, believed, and loved. Merchants carried goods to the harbor. Philosophers debated in the libraries. Laughter echoed in the theaters, and prayers resounded in the temples. The wealthy sat on marble toilets, servants prepared them, and fountains carried water to every corner of the city. Today, only stones, columns, and ruins remain. But these stones still hold life. The power of human effort, the vision of civilization, the voice of the past. Ephesus shows us that a city is not just made of buildings. A city is the mark of humanity. And thousands of years later, Ephesus still carries that mark.